Great. That works. Awesome. So I want to start by congratulating you in completing your AA degree, uh, reaching 120 competencies. How does this feel, man? How does it feel
It,
to achieve this goal?
it feels great. It's been a long journey, but as every race, as every marathon race, it's easy when you start, it's hard when you're in the middle, but it's joyful when you're at the end.
Mhm.
So
How'd you
I'm
feel
very
when you
happy.
found out that you master that last project that you were working on for a good amount of time?
It was amazing. It was just this feeling of achievement, it's rare. It's not every day that you start something and finish it and get that feeling, this feeling of achievement, this feeling of accomplishment that you've started something, you've started a project, and then you finished it and you see the 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 the, the results of your hard work. It was really awesome. I felt proud of myself.
That's great. So let's go back in time real quick. Let's talk about what made you join CFA. How did you find out about CFA, and what made you say, you know what, this is something that I want to sign up and be involved with?
So coming in USA as a refugee was a good thing, but it was not easy. It was hard because I had to deal with a new culture. I had to deal with a new environment. Um, and I knew that to fit in the American society, because I believe that wherever someone is, wherever someone gets, wherever life takes us, to succeed, you need to adapt. To succeed, you need to adjust. And those two things are not just given, they're skills that one has to develop, they're skills that one has to nurture. So I knew from the beginning that the key to adjustment, the key to adaptation in USA is education. And it was hard to, it was just kind of like a long process for me to um, get to know, to get to understand the American education, the American college system. So for me, I worked closely with this one organization called International Institute of New England. It's kind of like a resettlement agency. And through them, I heard about CFA, and I heard that it's a way of working adults to get a degree, a college degree. And it was less expensive, it was very affordable. So I was like, this is my chance. I've been dreaming to get an education here. I've been dreaming to get a degree in USA, and this is it. This is an opportunity, and I need to open this door because through this door, I can go far. Through this degree, I can open the door to many other opportunities than I took it.
And how long were you in the States before, this was introduced to you and you decided to sign up for it?
So before I decided to sign up, because it started in September, I started it in September 2014,
Hmm.
and I arrived in USA in at the end of 2013.
Hmm.
So it had been close to 7 months. So I've been in USA for 7 months when I got that opportunity. So I was like, I'm not letting this one go by. I need to take
Hmm.
it. Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome. So then, you signed up and you were excited about it, and then you finally were given access to log into the LMS and, you know, look at your first project. What did you think when you started encountering your first project, looking at, the directions, the assignment? I'm just curious to learn a little bit more around your interaction with those initial projects.
Well, the initial projects were really fun. They were really kind of mind. It's like some type of like warm up, you know, um, things related to success, things related to research, because I remember there was one about scavenger hunt, you know, um, we had to like look for different stuff. Um, there was one about trying to find a solution to a problem, resolving problems. You have to come up with an issue and then find a solution to that issue. You know, for me, it was very interactive. It was me and the projects. There was like a link between me. I had to do something so that I can resolve those projects. So they were really fun projects, and they smoothly paved the way to the rest of the program. They made it easy for me to love it. If he started hard and not fun, I think it would have been a little boring. Like there's a thing about online education. There's no teacher in front of you, there's no professor in front of you, there's no blackboard, there's no chalks, there's no such a thing. And when you start a new year in an actual classroom with a boring professor, it really impacts the whole year, because you're not going to love the subject, you're not going to love the classes, you're not going to love that particular course just because you don't like the professor, just because you put in your mind that this professor is boring, so the course is boring, even if it's an important course. With CFA, it can be the same thing, but having to make research, having to go to the library to like look up some things, calling a course named scavenger hunt, it's kind of a game. So it made me love the program even more.
Mhm. Let's dig in a little deeper and talk about some of the projects that you most enjoyed, or the ones that you felt like you learned the most from.
Well, there's actually a lot of projects that I mostly enjoyed. Um, I loved things that had to like made my brain work, like buy or rent, buy or rent project.
Hmm.
Um, it really helped me. It's real life. What I loved about it, it's very real life. It's things that we encounter on a daily basis. We have to, at a certain point in life, face a decision where you gotta rent or you gotta buy. And for me, being new in USA and not knowing a lot about this country, not knowing about a lot about how things work, that project opened my eyes, because there was a lot of resources about renting in USA, what one has to calculate if he wants to rent, and what one has to calculate or think about when it comes to wanting to buy a house.
Hmm.
So it kind of like opened my mind in the um, world of housing.
Hmm.
I really loved, because it was really practical. There was a lot of practical research about which one is wise, which one is smart, um, depending on how the economy stands. What's the best decision to make? So it's not just I have money, let me buy a house, but it's I have money. Is it wise to buy a house, or is it wise to just rent a house? You know, um, Another one that I loved most. Um, was the one about environment. Um, what was the title?
Consider the environment.
Consider the environment, correct. Um, I'm very troubled when we humans destroy our home. It's it's something that where I come from, people don't really care about. As long as you eat and sleep, you don't care about what surrounds you. People throw plastic bags wherever they are. People throw burn things, and they don't really care about what's going on. Why? Because of poverty, because of economic, financial hardships. People don't care anymore about what surrounds them. They just care about themselves. So
Mhm.
there's this spirit of selfishness that's behind the destruction of our environment.
Mhm.
And it's not just, but you are forced to be selfish because of your financial issues, because you don't see a way through. So you're like, I need to survive. And because I need to survive, I don't care about what this tree is going to do to me. What I care about is what this tree can do to me right now. I don't care about the future, but I'm going to cut down this tree and I'm going to make fire to cook my food. So poverty makes you think about only the present, not the future.
Mhm.
So for me, that course helped me understand that it's all about mentality. For an example, I lived in Burundi, but my neighbor country was Rwanda, is Rwanda. I saw how far a change of mentality can affect the environment. There's this national awareness of the benefits of a clean atmosphere, of a clean environment, that everybody started to act, starting from his house, from his home. And now the whole country is one of the cleanest country in Africa.
Mhm.
So that course, Consider the Environment, helps me understand that it all starts with a change of mentality to protect our home, which is
Mhm.
Earth. It all starts by taking one plastic bag and putting it where it deserves to be. Not just throwing it on the street, but taking it, being aware, that spirit of awareness, you know, and the world can become a better world.
That's awesome. Let's talk about the pace, right? Because CFA is a personalized and customized program where the student decide how they're going to, you know, navigate throughout the journey.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that because as we worked closely, we're able to highlight certain times when you were super productive, and then there was times when different things happened within your life that prevented you to actually move in the pace that you wanted to be in. So let's talk about that. What was some of the? How did you leverage that? How did you leverage your own willpower to stay on top of the agenda that you set out to do for yourself?
So pace was not easy, um, because some people do it in 3 months, some people do it in six. But me personally, I might say that I, at some point, really got so busy. I got so caught up with life and figuring out what I have to do things related to work, family, relationship, personal relationship. And it kind of slowed me down. And just one thing I can say is to not compare oneself with others, because that can very discourage you. Because when you see someone who graduated in 3 months or four, you're like, why didn't I do this? You know, why did I let 3 months go by without doing anything? And that can discourage you. But everyone has his own burden. Everyone has his own issues, and everyone has different ways of resolving those issues. The most important thing is to not give up. So my pace was cut, several times. I know personally that I would have, if I kept the same pace that I started with, I would have graduated in like 5 months, or 6 months if it had been longer. But at some point, I got caught up with life, and then it kind of like slowed me down, but I did not give up. I did not give up. I wanted to be more, and that reminded me of my responsibility toward myself, toward CFA, toward other students, and it gave me the motivation to just keep going and at least do at least one exercise or one project and to completion.
What did you have to do in order to have that shift? It sounds like, throughout the journey, there was times when things happened that pulled you back, and then you reflected on it and you implemented a new approach to continue to move forward. And then something else happened where it kind of stopped you again, and then you had to, like, I'm curious to learn a little bit more on some of the strategy that you implemented that allowed you to actually get back to, the work. Because a lot of times some
Mhm.
students are, they have a hard time of shifting their strategy once they reach those roadblocks. So I wanted to hear a little bit more from your experience of what did you need to do differently that contributed to your success.
So I might go about it by using an illustration. It's the bucket, sand, stone illustration. In a bucket, when you put sand first in the bucket and then put the stone after, the stone won't fit. The stones won't definitely fit. But when you start by putting the stones in the bucket and then put the sand in later, the sand fits in the little, places between the stones and stuff, and everything fits. So what I had to change is I had to tell myself what what's important. Let the first things come first. For me, what was important is education. So I knew that to complete my responsibility to achieve that goal, I had to put education first. And that is not something cannot work out miraculously by itself. I had to make a decision. So I decided to change my job because my job was mainly what was keeping me from finishing what I started. I was putting the sand first in the bucket, and I didn't have enough space for the stone, for the most important thing, my education. So I made a shift of my work. I was working as an on site interpreter. I decided to work as an over the phone interpreter, working from home. And that gave me enough time to focus on my studies because I worked from home and I studied from home. So I always had when I didn't have a call, I would do my studies. I would work on my projects, and that change helped me um, accomplish my goal and graduate.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that. CFA has a lot of support, right? There's a lot of support that's provided to the students. In this case, the partner that you came from also created a lot of on the ground support. INE did. How did you, how did you benefit from the support that was provided through? If it was through the coach, if it was through the community, the learning center, the reviewers' feedback, uh, help desk, just all the different support that you had around you. How did you leverage them in order to contribute to your success?
Well, I think we all need support. At some point, I had to deal with projects that I didn't understand, and there's a really big support through CFA where you can ask reviewers or um, I forget the website, but there's this one website where you can request the help of someone to help you, to help you walk through some projects.
Mm-hmm.
And I used that one, and also different feedbacks from reviewers. Once I would have some not yets, but I would get some good feedback from the reviewers, and they kind of like um, helped me understand what was wrong and what I needed to um, change or rectify so that I can get to a good result. Also, through INE, I had a very good group support with other students
Mm-hmm.
where we would meet on Saturdays, sometimes through Hangouts, and we would just exchange what challenges we were going through, and we would help one another know, um, we would help one another um, overcome what we were going through, different challenges, different projects we were um, having a hard time completing.
Mm-hmm. So now that you've completed your AA, what's next? What's next?
Well, now that I've completed this, I am thinking to open many other doors. I could have continued with a BA with CFA,
Mm-hmm.
but I decided to, um, how can I say it? I decided to, um, I can't find the exact, sentence, the exact word I wanted to use, but I decided to, uh, I want to transfer to another university, another college.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I'm in Tennessee and I'm applying to at Vanderbilt um, for the fall of next year, and I am trying to complete my application and everything, and hope if I get accepted to start there, um, to finish to get my BA through them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And how is that process going for you?
So it's not an easy process because, first of all, I'm considered as an international student because of
Mm-hmm.
my high school degree. So I had to translate my transcripts because most of them, I mean, all of them are in French.
Mm-hmm.
But um, with the help of CFA, um, I have, uh, I have good recommendation. I have like on the ground. I mean, recommendations from USA that I can use to support my case, to support my application,
Mm-hmm.
which is a good thing because um, if since it's going to be hard for Vanderbilt's or the other universities I have applied at to contact my home country school,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be easy for them to contact at least my coaches, advisors, counselors from CFA, and through that, it's going to smooth the path.
Mm-hmm. That's really awesome to
Mm.
hear, Danny. What would you have in terms of suggestions or tips or recommendation for other CFA students or students that comes from similar background as you that are thinking of joining CFA or have started? What are some of the tips you would have for them?
Some of the tips I would have for them is don't give up, and also know why you're doing it. You know, you just don't get into a plane or into a boat with no destination.
Hmm.
Know the destination. Know why you're getting that degree, why you need that degree. It's to have a better life. It's to succeed in this um, new environment, in this new culture, um, where education is mostly what makes you who you are, what gets you a good job, what brings you to places. So know why you're getting it, and if you're challenged by, there's a lot of challenges. It can be language, it can be
Hmm.
um, because most of us, studied in French or in other languages other than English. So
Hmm.
that in itself can be a challenge, but knowing why you're doing it, why you want that degree can help you um, keep trying and look for help, and then that can help you achieve your goal and get the degree that you want and pave the way to get a better life.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. And my last question is, if you had an image or one word or several words that describes your experience at CFA or something that represents the achievement that you've gained through your experience at CFA, what would that be? What would that image be, or word, or just in general?
So the image that I can adore, that's the
That
image.
okay?
Adore.
Wow,
Through CFA, I see a door and
adore.
adore.
Hmm.
That's the main image. And that door is something that I didn't build, but it's a door that was built. And behind that door, there's a lot of opportunities.
Hmm.
So the image is a door and the word is opportunity.
Mm.
So the opportunities knocked and the door was open. So what I mean, it's kind of like hard for me, even for me, but I have this thing in my mind where I say, if opportunities don't knock, build a door. So for me, I didn't have to build that door because the opportunity knocked when I got the call from um, the irony, um, not CEO, but representative in New Hampshire,
Hmm.
that there was this opportunity to get a degree. I was like, this is a great opportunity for me that's, just there. So I need to open that door and get what's behind, get an education, be successful, have a good life, and fit in the American dream.